A couple of months ago, I made some changes in how I was marketing my blog on Pinterest, and within just a few weeks of making those changes, my blog traffic almost tripled. So today in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly what I did so that you can replicate these strategies and get the results for yourself. Hi, my name is Gillian Perkins of GillianPerkins.com. I'm a professional blogger and digital marketing strategist, and I've been blogging for the last 5 or 6 years on different websites. With my current blog, I've been getting a moderate amount of traffic, and I was trying to market on Pinterest, but I wasn't seeing very significant results. It was just a few clicks here or there, but nothing substantial. But a few months ago, I started using Boardbooster, and under the advice of a few different bloggers, including Krista Dixon of blogbeautifully.com, I managed to set the settings so that I was able to drive pretty much automatic traffic to my blog. And since that time, I've seen the traffic to my blog triple. This has been huge for my blog. I've been getting so many more email subscribers and making so many more sales. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly what I did. Okay, so if you take a look at my computer screen here, you can see my Pinterest account. You can see that first of all, up in my name here, I have Gillian Perkins, Digital Marketing Strategist, and I have a nice attractive profile picture with a description of exactly what I do. So if you haven't done this aspect of setting up your Pinterest account yet, you definitely should go ahead and do this. The way your profile looks actually makes a huge difference as to whether or not people do in fact decide to subscribe to you on Pinterest or follow you, and it will make a big impact of exactly how much traffic you see from Pinterest. And then hopping over to the boards tab, you can see here that I have these different boards. I have one for all my own blog posts, and then I have these different blog posts that relate to the topics I talk about on my blog, like email list growth strategy, how to start an online business, business tips, how to start a blog. I have a whole bunch of different ones, and they all relate to the topics on my blog. So these are all pretty much the basics, but beyond the basics is when you start to schedule your pins and you start to use group boards so that you can get in front of a lot more people a lot more frequently. So let's take a look at the group boards that I'm a part of, and let me show you exactly how you get into these group boards. So if you scroll down through my different boards, you'll see that some of them have multiple users, like this one right here. You can see these different accounts that are associated with it, and here also. Let's click on this one, and you'll be able to see that it has multiple contributors. Up here it looks like there are at least 8 plus 3, so 11, and then you can also add another person here. But before I was a part of it, there wouldn't have been this plus button, so I wouldn't have been able to add anyone. But what you can do is you can look at who the very first person here is, and that person is normally the owner of the board, so you can contact them. There's a lot of different ways. You can either message them directly through Pinterest, or you can find their website and then email them. Also, often in the description of the group board, it will say exactly what you need to do to join it. So it might say, send an email to such and such email address, or message me on Pinterest, or leave a comment on a certain pin that's on the board. So you can see here that I have a pin on this board, and if we scroll down, you'll probably see some more. Yeah, here's a few more of my pins. So it just depends on the board. Some group boards allow you to pin as many pins as you want, whereas others say only 1 or 2 pins per day. And some also have specific guidelines about exactly what kinds of pins you can do, like only tall pins or only non-promotional pins. You just have to look at the rules for the specific group board so that you can figure out what you should be doing on that board so you don't break the rules and get kicked off. Group boards are an amazing way to get in front of a lot more people than you would be able to otherwise, especially if you're just starting out on Pinterest and you only have a few dozen or a few hundred followers so far. You can join these group boards that have tens of thousands of followers and then get your pins in front of all those people and be able to drive that much more traffic to your blog. Now, the biggest difference for my blog and my traffic came when I started using a scheduling tool. There are 2 main ones. One of them is called Tailwind and the other one is called Boardbooster. I tried them both out, and I like Boardbooster a lot more. I just felt like it was a lot more powerful and allowed you to automate things a lot more, so that's what I'm going to be showing you in this video. But people use both of them with equal success, and they're both great tools for driving traffic to your blog from Pinterest. So here's the Boardbooster website itself. It's not the fanciest website, but it is very powerful and it definitely gets the job done. It won't look quite like this when you first come here because you won't be logged on. But over here, if you look at my account, then you can see these different prices, and it's only showing you the higher prices here because I have a higher level account already. But when you start out, you get 100 pins completely for free, and that means it will automatically pin 100 images for you for free, and that can certainly last a couple of weeks when you're first starting out. And then after that, it is 1 cent per pin, and the base level account is $10 a month for 1,000 pins. Again, that's 1 cent per pin. And then it just goes up from there. So like 3,000 pins would be $30 a month, or 5,000 pins would be $50 a month. And right now it looks like I'm using the $20 a month, or maybe the $25 a month plan. So I'm doing 2,000 or 2,500 pins per month, and I find that that's working very well for me, but I certainly will be scaling up in the future and seeing if I see even better results with one of these larger plans that allows me to scale and pin even more images. But right now I feel like that would probably overwhelm my audience and maybe seem a little bit spammy, so I'm not doing that right now, but I'll definitely experiment with it in the future. Okay, so next, if you look at the pinning tools, these are the main parts of Boardbooster that allow you to do different things to automatically schedule your pins. The first one is called campaigns. Now in campaigns, you are taking pins that are on one board and you are pinning them onto other boards automatically. So for example, this first campaign that I have set up says new blog posts to all group boards. So I have a special board set up that is called new blog posts. And then I have that board posting to all of the different main group boards that I'm in. So you can see that when I post one image to that new blog posts board, so maybe I publish a new blog post on my blog and then I pin the pinnable image onto the board called new blog posts, then Boardbooster will automatically repin that pin onto all of the other group boards that I'm on. It will pin to this one at 10 a.m., it'll pin to blogging tips at 1 p.m., blog woo babes at 3 p.m., it'll pin to my board at 5 p.m., and then at 7 p.m. it will pin to a board called social media. Now what this does is it means that my followers won't feel like I'm spamming by pinning my image to a bunch of different boards all at once. Because if I did that, they might see it multiple times in their feed right around the same time, and that could seem kind of spammy. So what we want to do instead is be pinning it throughout the day onto these different boards so that it gets onto all those different boards, but we don't have to be on Pinterest, 10 times throughout the day to get it onto all of them. The more active you are on Pinterest, the more your account will pop up in other people's feeds as someone who they should follow. You know when you click to pin an image and then it shows you more pins like it, but it also often pops up a small pop-up that says if you liked this, you might want to subscribe or you might want to follow this other board that has similar pins. It might also say like so-and-so also pinned this image, and then that prompts people to check you out without having to pay anything. So it's like free advertising the more active you are on Pinterest. Aside from that campaign, I also have this other campaign that says Gillian Perkins to all group boards, and this is actually really similar, but what it's doing is it is pinning all of my blog images that I pin to one massive board called Gillian Perkins to all of my group boards. And if we go over to Pinterest, I can show you exactly what this looks like. So I have this one board called Gillian Perkins. I have 50 pins on it that are all from different blog posts that are on my blog, obviously. And then that campaign is taking each of these images and then pinning it to my group boards. And it's pinning 2 or 3 of these images to each group board per day, as per the terms that each group board specifies. Now what the scheduler does is it pins images to any of your boards from any source that you want. So the main way that Boardbooster recommends that you do this is to have a secret board where you are pinning a ton of images at once. So let's say you have a category on your blog called inspirational quotes, and so you have a board on Pinterest called inspirational quotes. Now you don't want to spend a lot of time every day going onto Pinterest multiple times and finding one pinnable quote so that you're not spamming your followers. It would be much easier if you could go and pin a whole bunch at once and then not have to worry about it for the rest of the day. So if you have a secret board on Pinterest, you can pin all of those images at one time onto that secret board, and your followers won't see them at all. And then you can use one of the Boardbooster scheduling campaigns to schedule pins from that secret board onto your public board throughout the day. So let's take a look and see exactly how this works. So let's take a look at this first board here. It says Accounting for Online Business. If we click on it, you'll see that it is sourcing from source board Accounting for Online Business. So you could be, dash Accounting for Online Business. That actually makes a difference because Boardbooster puts this dash in front of all of the different secret boards so that you know that they are the secret boards that you're supposed to be pinning to. Now, I use this in a little bit of a different way, so that's why it says it ran out of pins 12 days ago, but I could pin as many images to Accounting for Online Business as I want, and then they would get pinned to the public board Accounting for Online Business. Now, here's what I do instead. Over in pin sourcing, you can click add, and you can add different sources for Boardbooster to be publishing pins to. When you click add, you'll see there's two different options. One is called Board Monitor, and the other is Search Agent. Board Monitor is repinning from a specific board that you specify. It can be your own board or it can be a public board of someone else. And Boardbooster will repin all of those images onto your board at whatever time you tell Boardbooster you want those images to be pinned. This can save you so much time because you don't have to be manually pinning images yourself and manually finding them. Boardbooster can do it for you automatically. Now, the other type of sourcing that Boardbooster can do for you is called Search Agent. And with a Search Agent, Boardbooster is actually going out and finding random pins that meet certain specifications that you give them and then pinning them to the board that you tell them to. If you click on Search Agent, then you can put in specific search keywords or board name filters and then other specifications like what style of pin and what kind of content it is, and then how popular that pin is and how many pins per day, of course. You can also set it so that it either automatically publishes every pin that it finds or you have to manually approve those pins. Now, this can be a little bit tricky because sometimes Boardbooster isn't able to find pins that perfectly match your specifications if you're super specific. But on the other hand, if you're more general, then it might find pins that aren't really what you were looking for, and then your boards won't look very coherent. So personally, the option that I use is the Board Monitor. I choose a board that has a lot of images on it that I like and that matches the tone and the particular topics that I'm going for with my board, and then I just have Boardbooster repin all of those images onto mine, and then from time to time I change what board we're sourcing from so that it doesn't get too redundant and so I don't run out of pins. Now, with the scheduler, it's important that you do create a scheduling campaign for every board on your Pinterest account so that they all are active and people are attracted to them and they see lots of activity on all of those boards. To add a board to your scheduling campaigns, all you have to do is click add boards, and then this will pop up and you can select any boards that you want. You can select up to 10 at one time, and the reason it's not offering me very many boards here is because I already have all of my boards added, but you can click on whichever one you want and then you can add it, and it will allow you to set exactly how many pins you want per day and what hours you want them to be pinned during. Okay, so the final main automated pinning tool that Boardbooster offers is the looping tool. So if we click on looping here, you'll see that we have some different campaigns set up. And what looping does is it recycles the pins on any given board. So you're not pinning from a different board or from a different source. Instead, it's repinning the old pins on that board up to the top of the board so that they show up in people's feeds. Now, I like to do this for just my main boards because I don't find that it is very useful on the less active boards or the boards that don't support my blogs as much. So I have just a few of these different campaigns set up for looping. I have the blogging tips and techniques, Facebook strategy for business, the one for my personal blog, and this is really the most important one for me for looping because I want to make sure that my old blog posts are seeing the light of day and they're not just like gathering dust in the archives of my blog, but people are actually finding them and getting to enjoy them. So let's go over the settings that I have for this looping campaign. Now, obviously, of course, the status is working. I don't have it paused. I'm doing multiple pins per day because I want to be recycling a lot of this content. Right now, I have it set as basic, not advanced, because advanced allows you to have it be different on different days of the week, and I don't find that that's particularly useful. Right now, I'm doing 4 pins per day, but I actually think I'm going to back it down to 3 pins per day for now. It depends on how active the rest of your account is. If you are pinning 100 pins per day, then you can probably get away with 5 or 6 or even 10 of your own pins, because you can get up to about 30% of your own pins without being too spammy. But right now I'm pinning about 60 images a day, so I don't want it to be too much. And I also have several other campaigns that are pinning my own images. And then I have it set for pretty much any time of the day. I might bump this up all the way to 11 p.m. And this all the way down to 1 a.m. My prime pinning time is normally about noon. Boardbooster actually has an amazing feature over here in reports that we'll look at in just a sec that allows you to see when your prime pinning time is. But I know that my second prime pinning time is about 6 a.m. so I want to get that into the loop also here. And then you can choose what order it's repinning them to. I have it doing oldest to newest because I really want those old pins to be being pinned. But only the tall pins. I do have a couple random images on that board that are just like pictures of me or of my logo or something like that, but I only really want to be showing my followers the pins that are the images of my blog, and all of those are tall. You can choose whether or not it's only your own pins or to skip your own pins. In this case I have it disabled because these are only my own pins on this board anyway, so it doesn't matter. And you can do the same thing whether you want them to come from a specific website or to avoid a specific website. Automatic deduplication. So this means that it will delete the duplicate pins after it pins them again, and then there's 2 of them on the board after a certain number of days. I have it doing it every 5 days. But I have this protection for viral pins so that if a pin has more than 12, and I'm actually going to back this way down to 4. If it has more than 4 repins, then it won't delete that duplicate of it. It will delete the one with the less pins. And that way, if you have a pin that became really popular and you want to keep, that social credibility on it of how many people have repinned it and how many people have liked it, Boardbooster won't just automatically delete it and you lose all that momentum that you've gained. And then finally, let's take a look over here at the reports. There's a number of different reports that you can use to see your analytics and exactly how both Boardbooster and your Pinterest is doing. But the main thing that I think matters the most is the best time to pin. And on this page, you can see the number of repins that you get at different times during the day. So here at 12 a.m., I see that the pins were repinned almost 1 per pin. So like almost every pin I did got a repin. So that's pretty amazing. And then here also more than 1.2 repins per pin. So both of those times are kind of my prime times, but then you also see a few spikes here at 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. and maybe here at 5 p.m. So those are just some different times that you want to keep in mind, because after you've been doing this for a number of months, you can start refining your campaigns so that they are only pinning during those times, so that you're not wasting your Boardbooster pins on times when you're probably not going to see very much activity anyway. Okay, and then the final thing that I wanted to share was the follower growth. And this, you can see this on Pinterest too, but I just think it's cool that they give you this graph that shows exactly how quickly your followers are growing. And the other thing that I wanted to point out here is I only have a little over 400 followers right now, and yet I am seeing thousands and thousands of clicks over to my website from using Boardbooster and Pinterest together. And that's because I'm on all these group boards and I'm automating my pinning. So my pins and my links to my website are being shown to tens of thousands of people, and it is just such a great opportunity that you can drive that much traffic for so little expense, and even if your audience is brand new and you don't have very many people yet. But Boardbooster also allows you to grow your audience pretty quickly. I'm up to over 400, and I was at about 100 just a few months ago because I did start using Pinterest really recently. So I hope you found this video really helpful. These are just some tools that I've been using recently that have really impacted my blog and have allowed my online business to grow a whole lot. So I really hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up to say that you liked it, and also subscribe to my channel for more videos like this in the future. My name is Gillian Perkins of GillianPerkins.com, and thank you so much for watching.